5 years ago, NASA made headlines with an ambitious plan to use X-rays for communication in space. This sounded revolutionary. X-rays could be faster, more efficient, and they can solve problems that the current technology can't. And this idea had potential to change the way with how we communicate with spacecrafts, especially on deep space missions like Mars. But now, years later, there's been no update. So what happened? Did the experiment work? Did it fail? Or did NASA just quietly get rid of the project? So right now, NASA uses radio waves to talk to spacecrafts. It's reliable, but it's not perfect. Radio waves are slow for today's standards, and sending large amounts of data takes a lot of time and energy. Plus, radio waves can be blocked during certain high-stakes moments, like when a spacecraft is re-entering the Earth's atmosphere and a plasma sheath forms around it. But X-rays can solve these issues. With much shorter wavelengths, X-rays can send more data faster and with less power. They can even cut right through plasma, which means no more nerve-wracking communication blackouts during re-entry. So overall, it was an exciting idea, and it promised to be a leap forward in space communication. So in 2019, NASA announced that they would test this X-ray communication, or XCOM for short, and they would test it on the International Space Station. And the experiment involved 2 steps. Step 1 is that they have a device that will send bursts of X-rays encoded with data. And then step 2 is they have a telescope that's studying neutron stars, and this telescope would act as the receiver for these signals. And if the experiment worked, it can prove that X-rays could transmit data efficiently in space. And this was just the beginning, but the potential uses of this technology were enormous. But then, after the announcement, the excitement just faded. No follow-ups, no updates, no reports. NASA hasn't made it clear whether the test succeeded, failed, or if it even happened at all. Now, why could this be? Well, we have a few possibilities. The first is that it just didn't work. Space experiments are tricky, and sometimes things just don't go as planned. The second is that the experiment did happen, but the results are classified. Who knows, maybe these X-rays were involved for some military purposes or something, and they just don't want us knowing. And then the last possibility is that maybe they just moved on from the project. Maybe other options were there that were better, and those took priority instead. But the reason this matters is because it raises the question, why did this experiment just seem to disappear? Yes, space technology often takes decades to develop, but usually NASA's transparent about progress. If XCOM had succeeded, wouldn't NASA want to tell the world? This silence raises questions about whether the project is still alive or it was just quietly abandoned. Either way, it's a reminder of how difficult and unpredictable space innovation can be. So did NASA's XCOM experiment succeed? We don't know. But what we do know is that pushing the boundaries of space communication is critical for the future of exploration. Whether it's through X-rays, lasers, or something else entirely, these breakthroughs will shape how we reach for the stars.